Today, County Commissioner Mike Sparks, serving the northern Rutherford County area. Good Smyrna resident.
Yeah, try to be, Brian.
Try to be. Try to work on those things.
What about you?
What do you mean?
You try to be a good Murfreesboro resident?
I try to be a good, I'm a county resident.
Oh, the county?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to pay them city taxes, do you?
I don't. I get to worry about how you and the other county you are going to raise my taxes this summer or whatever. We're going to be talking about some Smyrna issues with the mayor. Mayor Bob Spivey is expected to be with us today as well. And we are in the palatial offices of Dempsey Dilling and Associates, one of the sponsors of this program. And Jerome Dempsey is here with us. And what brings us here today, Mike?
Well, as you know, and a lot of your listeners know, we try to make our rounds in Smyrna and cover a lot of what I call good news and issues facing Smyrna. And one thing that I'll applaud Jerome Dempsey and Brian Dilling that are here with us is, you know, not only are they a sponsor to help us bring this show to Smyrna in North Rutherford County, but they do step up in the community. I know recently there was there's so many things I could mention that this company steps up and helps, from Cancer Society. Michelle Elliott recently, I know they stepped up and helped a large amount. I won't say how much, but it was a large amount. And she ended up having one of the most successful fundraisers of any individual. If I'm not mistaken, she raised about $23,000, if I'm not mistaken. But he has stepped up in so many other countless ways. And Mayor Spivey has as well. He's not with us right now, but he will be joining us. But one thing that I'll brag on both these individuals real quick is, a few months ago, we had a widow that I knew of. Her husband passed away and left no life insurance. No life insurance. And he was, I mean, when he passed away, he was a liability. I mean, she had no money to bury him. She had to go borrow money from Wilson Bank and Trust, stepped up and at least done a loan to bury her own husband. And I gave a shout out to Rotary for some help. And I just kind of kidded the Rotary. I said, whatever we raise, I think Mayor Spivey will match it, and just kind of put Bob on the spot, you know, kind of cutting up. But Bob stepped up and matched it, and Jerome come over, and he was one of the first people that said, here, Mike, I'll help. And I think we raised $400, and that helped her, you know, get by for about 6 weeks or 2 months on having to make that payment. As far as I know, she's took care of all of it. But they do step up, and that's one reason we want to do the show from right here.
Well, and part of it as well, being a sponsor of this program also allows us to continue to do what we want to do here and bring a highlight to issues facing North Rutherford County.
Yes, sir. And you know, he's took this piece of property and they've really made a little showpiece out of it. And this is what we were just talking off the air, planning, and I was just saying how this was really done in a smart growth fashion. You know, you've got some heavy retail up the road. You've got, you know, the Old Crawford Supply. You've got Hardee's. You got a transition down here to Tom's Florist that looks good. You got the little cafe up here. I've lost the
Chatterbox.
Chatterbox, and you've got some offices across the street.
You ought to feel welcome there.
What?
Chatterbox.
Oh, okay. It takes me 30 seconds to grasp it. But, you know, this really looks good. And you transition back into my old neighborhood. I mean, I just live a block from here. So, you know, I was really pleased with the way that they done this and the aesthetics. And they really spent some money going through this.
Jerome, with all of that, we'll get to you in just a moment. But thanks for having us out today.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a little break here and get into some conversation with you, and we're going to check our traffic and weather first of all and find out what's going on around the area. Sunny and 43 right now. We'll get the forecast from staff meteorologist Laura Lockwood, and your traffic is coming up as well. That's after we check your man on the street here on Rutherford Issues on WGNS. Welcome back into Rutherford Issues, the Smyrna edition today. Sunny skies, 43 degrees right now. Staff meteorologist Laura Lockwood is in with an update on the forecast. Laura, how's it looking? Thank you, Laura. Again, sunny and 43 right now, enjoying this beautiful day. It was a little warmer yesterday, though. I wish we had the, I'm ready for spring. I don't know about you.
Me too. Amen.
Spring means a good time to get out and take part in many outdoor activities. One of those coming up in the next few weeks may be the stream cleanups that will be held here in Smyrna. And Jerome, how did you get involved in this? And I know we've got Greg Upham here, who is the stormwater coordinator for Smyrna. But what is your involvement in this?
Basically, our involvement is just volunteer work to, we're passionate about clean water, about stormwater runoff. I mean, that's one of the many things that we do here at Dempsey Dilling, provide services for, and it's just a way for us to give back to the community and volunteer and help Greg get organized in the stream cleanup. And we also brought it to Rotary, and the Rotary Club also gets very involved every year in this activity.
Now, in terms of what you do, let's take the roundabout, for instance.
Right.
When you're doing design for that, I mean, is stormwater part of all of this?
Oh, stormwater is a big part of every type of construction design. I mean, it's really coming to the forefront. So you have to start from the ground down and make sure that the stormwater runoff, that you control it and that you don't impact the existing waters of the state.
Greg, it's good to meet you today, and glad to have you here with us to talk about the cleanups coming up.
My pleasure.
Tell me about what is a stream cleanup? What goes into that?
Well, okay, it's usually several citizens from the community that help us go along the stream banks and remove a lot of the litter that normally will end up in the stream, which is aesthetically displeasing, but also alters the habitat of critters that live in the creek.
Not only that, but I would say eventually that stuff winds up in the creek, does it not?
Oh yeah, it ends up in the creek, and then it also ends up in the lake. We had several island cleanups last summer in conjunction with the city of Nashville to clean up some of those problems up there in Crystal Creek Lake.
So the water rises and takes in the things that are left behind that shouldn't be there, and then when the water level goes down, it just deposits it wherever it may be, I guess.
It finds different ways of finding its way into the creek. A lot of times it's wind blown from streets and highways where it's thrown out of people's cars or blown out of the back of pickup trucks. Sometimes people fish down on the creek and just leave different types of debris and litter there.
So what kind of groups can become involved in this? I mean, I guess it's an individual, maybe civic groups and organizations too?
Sure, individuals can participate as well as Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, church groups, school groups, athletic teams. Families can join in as well. It really does make any difference to us.
Now, where are these creeks? I mean, obviously they're in the Smyrna area.
Right. Well, the main stream through Smyrna is Stewart Creek, but it has about 3 different tributaries that flow into Stewart Creek. And we have about 13 sites that we prioritize throughout the town of Smyrna. And I try to clean up 12 of those this year. We have one there in Sharp Springs Natural Area, which looks to be in pretty good shape at this point.
So, say you've got one on March 14th, April 25th, and May 16th. They're all Saturdays.
That's correct.
Do you specialize on just a couple on the 14th, or do you try to get all of them? How does that work?
Well, we'll divide up our sites depending on the size of groups that show up. And I've been talking with one Boy Scout troop here in the last couple of days, trying to arrange where they'll be actually camping at Sharp Springs Natural Area, and then we'll work out from that point with their Boy Scouts and Weebolo Scouts to nearby sites. As we get other groups involved, they'll attend to the other locations we have throughout town. But they'll start at 8 o'clock and they'll run till noon.
So do you meet at one central location and then divide out? Is that how you usually work that?
Yes, normally we've been meeting at Town Hall, but I think this year we're going to meet closer to the sites, so it reduces the amount of travel time. We can spend more time cleaning up the sites. And those meeting locations will be publicized in the next few weeks.
Okay. And it may be that your focus on May 16th is in a different area, or you may have to go back to an area that has already been cleaned. Is that what you normally see?
Normally, we don't see areas becoming littered again that quickly.
Yeah.
So once we're done with one, we won't normally address it for the remainder of the year. I normally take looks at all these sites during late fall and early during the winter months to see how well they're doing. We do have some sites that are littered every year, year after year. We have to go back to every year, while others don't need them quite as frequently.
Mm-hmm. Greg Upham is with us today, Stormwater Coordinator for the City of Smyrna. And some people may think, well, I don't know that I'm going to be able to give up, 3 Saturdays. You can do it once or all 3 times, I guess.
Yeah, you can do it once, twice, or 3 times if you like.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stay out there for the entire 4 hours if you can't. If your son or daughter has a soccer game or something like that later in the morning, you can come out for just the early part.
You know, Brad and Jerome both, they step up and do this. I participate, and I tell you what, we have a good. You wouldn't think you'd have a good time with it. You have a good time with it. I mean, usually it's a nice day, and you kind of making a difference and get some exercise.
I'd like for Greg just kind of explain how many pounds and bags of debris that we have picked up in the past.
Well, I don't have the cumulative total of all that, but I will tell you that we were in the Davis Park area last spring, and even though that is not what would be called a stream, it's what's called a wet weather conveyance, but when it storms, it really carries a lot of water through there. And to the best of my recollection, at least 12 tires came out there.
Wow.
And I can't tell you how many bags of garbage were filled.
Yeah.
And it's just astonishing. And you'll go into these locations, and a lot of times they're heavily covered with vegetation, but when you get right up on top of that garbage, it just stands out. And it's just waiting there to be drawn into the creek during the next high water event.
Or picked up during a volunteer event.
Or picked up during a volunteer event. Hopefully we'll get there first.
Now, bags of garbage? I mean, do people dump their garbage?
Well, we collect all the garbage. What I meant to say is that we collect the garbage in large
Oh, okay.
plastic bags, and then our street department comes by later in the day and picks that up and takes it to the convenience center.
Well, the tires, that must be a popular thing to dispose of wherever you can find a place?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was in one of the island cleanups this past summer, and there were tires out on those islands out in the middle of Percy Creek Lake. So they don't get there by themselves. Folks are carrying them down there and dropping them off while nobody's looking. And a lot of those tires can be recycled. If we can get the wheel out from inside the tire, we can recycle both of those items.
Well, the county also take them at the convenience centers without the rim.
Without the rim.
I think they've upped the limit from 2 to 4 recently.
Well, I mean, that looks like the logical place to take items instead of dumping them. Is it a convenience thing? Well, why do people even think about doing that?
I've never done it myself, so I can't tell you.
Have you ever had anybody give you an excuse or anything?
Well, I've never caught anybody at it, although I'd like to. There is a fine involved with that through the ordinance with the town of Smyrna.
Mm-hmm.
And we post that information at critical locations along the greenways where the greenway is close to the stream. And there's a hefty fine. And if you're caught doing it several times, you can spend some time behind bars, I suppose.
And so, is there a phone number on those signs where people can call if they see this going on?
I think we direct them towards the police department, but they can call my number as well, 355-5701. If you see somebody that, and we've had people call us about different issues, illegal dumping of oil and whatnot, and they call this number. If you would like more information about the stream cleanup, or if you'd like to sign up, please give me a call. I have voicemail, and if I'm not in the office at the time, I'll do my best to call you back as soon as possible. But once again, that number is 355-5701.
I know I kind of got off on a tangent there, but I just can't, for the life of me, understand why people think the water is the best place to actually dump tires and garbage and things like that. It doesn't make sense. That's why I don't understand why we build landfills next to our water supply. But
well, I don't know the answer to all those questions.
Tell me a little bit about what it means to have the chance to try out some new equipment. What is this new equipment that you purchased from a grant?
Well, actually, technically it's supplies, because none of it was expensive enough to be equipment, but we're looking at what we call reachers, which is a device that has a handle on it, and we have anywhere from 3, 4 to 6 feet long, and have little pinchers at the end to where you can reach down instead of having to bend down and pick all this up. You just have to reach down, pick it up, or if you try to get garbage out of a brushy area or extending over a creek, actually over branches over a creek.
It can be difficult.
That's right. We've also bought reflective safety vests that everybody will be required to wear. And anybody that's close to the stream, which will have to be an adult, will be wearing a life preserver in case they should fall in and reach for something like that.
Well, anything to make it a little easier. I'm sure that if someone wanted to pull you along in a wagon or something like that with the reacher, you could do it for all day, right?
I hear you.
Now, you've been out before.
Well, I enjoy it. I know, I was kidding Greg here recently that you've got the Stewart's Creek Watershed Association, you know.
Well, we have one member. So.
Yeah, all right, this is where it's funny. Okay, I asked him, I said, hey, how's the Stewart's Creek Watershed Association? The group coming along, and he said, he kind of paused a little bit, and he said, well, come think about it, Mike, you're the only member, and we just started laughing about it, you know. But one thing I want to compliment our county mayor and our workhouse director, Alan Miller. One thing they're looking at doing is bringing the inmates, trustees from the workhouse, and bringing them over to the lake and having them get out there and pick the trash and stuff up. In fact, they were out weeding the lane the other day, picking up a lot of debris, and they do a great job. And I know the general public would love to see that, because you know, we have so many recreational opportunities here with Percy Priest Lake, Jefferson Springs, the new Gregoryville Park, and whatnot out there.
Well, Mike, I tell you, every weekend I see those folks along the side of the road doing a great job cleaning things up, but we still see a tremendous amount of litter in our stream. When that water level is down in Stewart Creek, and a sewer line is crossing it, and it impounds that water, you can find all kinds of litter in that water, and just waiting for the next storm event for that water to rise and it gets swept right downstream, and that line's got a long way to stop.
Greg Upham joining us today. Again, phone number 355-5701. Greg, thanks for being here today.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to take a break for the news here at the bottom of the hour, and Smyrna Mayor Bob Spivey is next.
Hey, man.
Welcome back into Rutherford Issues, Smyrna edition. And when we're here in North Rutherford County, County Commissioner Mike Sparks always joins us, and brought along, you asked the county mayor, you must have his number on speed dial. Does he have you? Does he have
the city mayor.
I don't know why. I knew I was going to say county mayor when I was talking county commissioner, city mayor, Bob Spivey. Does he have you on speed dial?
Absolutely. I'm number one.
Number one.
He's like, what? What do you want now?
And then you always want something, I guess.
Yeah.
Mayor, it's good to have you here. How are things going in Smyrna overall?
Thank you. Very good. Everything is shaping up pretty good. We've been very fortunate during this that drive down now of the economy that so far we're not hurting that.
The economy is something that everybody's looking at. I know Mike has talked about it from his perspective on the county level and your level here in Smyrna, looking at that. And the economy has affected it, but you being a good businessman, do you think, and I've asked several people this, do you think that we can talk ourselves into an even worse economic crisis? Do you think maybe we talked ourselves into it? Because it was this time last year when it was are we going to be in a recession, or is this a recession, and anticipating it to the point where people got scared and started keeping their money in their wallets. I mean, do you think that that is something that happens?
Well, I agree that this can happen, and I think it has happened. If you look at your national news and your newspapers and all type of media that people draw conclusions from, I really believe the general public is really scared now, that they are conserving their dollars and not spending them like they normally would. However, Smyrna is still experiencing about a 20% average on sales tax collections over last year, which we've had several new operations to open here, but still, you're still waiting in line on at night to when you go out to eat to get into the restaurants, and there's still more coming. And we're very excited about the fact that we have Cheddar's, a fine dining type restaurant that's coming that will seat about 500 people, and they feel like that they will serve as many as 500,000 people in this location once they're open. Their average tab is about $10.65, and they're truly expecting to do over $5 million in business, which this will be the largest food service operation in Rutherford County.
Is that right?
That's right. So it's things like that that keep turning our economy that allows us to continue to show pluses instead of minuses. I was talking to Mayor Burgess a couple of weeks ago, and he was making a comment to someone else that Smyrna's the one that's holding Rutherford County up now because we're the only ones that got a plus on sales tax. So we're continuing to do real well, and of course everybody's really worried about. Of course, we know what's happened at Bridgestone. Obviously, our sales are down and manufacturing is down. And we know what's happening with Nissan, the fact that they've received about 2,000 applications for buyouts. But we are, according to the news we're getting, there won't be any more layoffs at Nissan in the near future. So, depending on what happens with our automobile industry and what the stimulus does for us, as far as what they're doing for the automobile industries in the country here, I do feel like that we'll get back on track.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're off the track. It sounds like things are going pretty well, but they could continue to be even better with more people spending money. But I mean, if you're waiting in line at a restaurant, it must be pretty good.
Well, they're waiting in line at Botano College. They're waiting in line at the new YMCA. I was talking to Gary earlier today, and there's have over 11,000 members in the YMCA. Of course, Motlow is filled with people, and they're using space at the Laverne High School to teach extra classes. So we're very excited about what Motlow has done for our community and what it offers.
I talked to somebody the other day, and let's get a phone call in here first, and someone wants to speak with Smyrna Mayor Bob Spivey. So caller, go ahead. Well, being an economist, sure, but before you go away, being an economist, I wanted to ask you this question, and the same one that I kind of posed to the mayor right now, and you kind of alluded to the fact that this area continues to prosper despite some downturns in the economy. But as you look back over trends, is this recession different? Some have even blamed this recession on the fact that we anticipated it to the point that we're just, 6 months before there was a recession, we were talking about it to the point where we didn't spend any money. Would you agree with that theory? Well, thanks for your thoughts. Yes, it did, and we appreciate your thoughts this afternoon. And thanks for calling in to the program, Mayor. Motlow is a big part of this community that I know that has one of those things that you really wanted to bring to Smyrna.
Absolutely.
What was the driving motivation to you for Motlow? I mean, he's talking about a graduating class of nurses coming up. That's great. That's big news. But what was your motivation for Motlow?
Well, if you look at the area, of course, MTSU, 15 miles down the road here, is running 23,000 students. And we have no junior colleges in the area. If you look at our location and measure out 10-mile radius around, you've got over 100,000 students that's going to graduate this year, and with nowhere to go except to MTSU or some of the private campuses in Nashville. And everybody can't afford to do that. And what Motlow has brought to us is an ability to get at least 2 years college and headed towards some type of a trade without having to be able to, they can carry on a job as well as go to school, because Motlow is certainly very creative when it comes to schedules. It's very amazing that how much interest we've had in the nursing program, because we are so short on nurses in this area, as far as a matter of fact, in the nation. So as a result, Motlow did a lot to this area, and it came to me as a way that we could continue to develop our area, to have a more well-rounded area, and to offer this to not only our citizens here, but citizens as far away as Davidson County and Sumner County and Wilson County. And it was just an area that was unserved, and Motlow bought off of this real fast, I'm here to tell you.
That's Smyrna Mayor Bob Spivey. I want to ask him some additional questions about keeping business growth in the area, and also about the tax rate. We'll pin him down. Maybe he's got an idea of what that's going to be. Who knows? And will it stay low? We're going to talk to the Smyrna Mayor as we continue with Rutherford Issues. We'll take a time out. We'll come back after our last break. We'll have more questions for the mayor. You can join in too, 893-1450. We'll be right back. Just off, let's see, Jerome, what is your address? I don't know. Where
It's 502 Hazelwood Drive
All
at
right.
the intersection of Enid Springs Road West and Hazelwood Drive.
Eden Springs in Hazelwood.
Yeah.
Can't miss it. Kind of a historic
It
area.
is, it is. This house was built in 1942, and we bought it about 2.5 years ago and went through and had it remodeled and refurbished and tried to keep the natural character of the neighborhood and the building.
Well, it does look, it's very, very nice. Mayor, as we kind of wrap up, I wanted to ask you a question or two about taxes. People are concerned that, you know, with the economy the way it is, maybe cities and counties are going to have to increase their tax rate. And I know that's one thing that Smyrna has at least worked to keep low is the tax rate. Is that still the same? Will you still be doing the same along with the council to make sure the tax rate stays as low as possible?
Well, as my term mayor, we've reduced tax rates twice in 2 budget years and only raised them once, and then we maintained 2 same as years. So I would think that at this point we have no anticipation of raising taxes because we're sales tax driven here, and as long as we can keep the sales tax ranking, which I just said a while ago that we're 20% above last year with our sales tax. Now, I'm not sure where that will continue for the rest of this fiscal year or not, but I'm guessing that it will because we really haven't had a month, except for one error that the state made. We haven't had a downside to the previous year since I've been mayor. Every month our sales tax rates have increased over the previous year. So why is that happening? Is because, of course, we've attracted a tremendous amount of new business here where people can shop at home, and I've often said, why should we tax the people to build new roads so they can go somewhere else to spend their sales tax dollars? And that's worked out just right because if we build a place for people to go, obviously they're going to shop at home. But we've had a tremendous influx of people who have come in and spent millions of dollars to create shopping possibilities for our customers. And Rome has just laid out a sales tax. I believe this covers the whole year, doesn't it, Rome?
That's correct, yes.
Give you an idea of where we at on sales tax collections. We're in excess of about $1.5 million a month on sales tax collections. 6 years ago, when I came into the mayor's office, we were running $500,000 and $600,000. So we doubled, if not tripled, in most cases on those kind of dollars. So it's very important that we keep our we keep new businesses coming and keep all of them as positive as we possibly can because the sales tax dollars means a tremendous amount. Might also add that if you drive up Ridley Parkway to I-24 and look at the hotel lineup, it's pretty incredible what you see out there. With all the hotels that are built and will be built, we will soon have 1,000 rooms on Ridley Parkway and I-24. If you figure 2 people per room, every night we host 2,000 new people that live here and is going to eat 2 meals here, going to fill the tank up with gas, and we're going to wave them goodbye the next morning and wish them well and hope they'll
And
come
take their
back
tax
soon.
money.
Absolutely. And it didn't cost us anything.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the ways that we're moving to try to keep our property taxes low here. So I think that people can look forward to not experiencing them. Now, we'll say that every 4 years, we do have to have a reappraisal of our properties designated by state law. As a result, that reappraisal is in process now, and next year we will see new tax values.
Mayor, thanks for being with us today. It's always good to have you on every month or two to kind of update us on what's going on here in Smyrna. Sounds like things are going fine.
Well, so far so good.
Well, we'll check up with you here in the next
We're
few
going to be
months.
very positive about it, so maybe it'll keep on going.
Yeah, that's what we want. Mike, thanks for being here with us today.
All right, thank you, Brian.
And Jerome, thanks for having us. Beautiful place you got here.
Thank you for coming.
Jerome Dempsey here at Dempsey Dilling and Associates, also Smyrna Mayor Bob Spivey, for Greg Upham and Brad Dilling, who's here. I'm Brian Barrett, Mike Sparks, Taylor Loyal with the Smyrna AM. We got a cast of thousands here. Thanks for being with us today for Rutherford Issues, the Smyrna edition. It's all sports talk next on WGNS.
Yeah, good.